You know that feeling when everyone's complaining about the cold and you're just thriving? While your friends are booking flights to tropical islands, you're genuinely excited about staying home in your pajamas for the third day straight. If this sounds like you, congratulations, you might be psychologically wired to love winter. And no, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just built different. The thing nobody really talks about is that winter people aren't just tolerating the cold. We're experiencing something fundamentally different in our brains, and science actually backs this up. So today, we're diving into why some of us genuinely love the season that makes everyone else miserable, because there's a lot more going on here than just liking sweaters. Let's start with the most obvious question. Why does staying home feel so much better in winter than summer? Not just acceptable, not just okay, but genuinely soul-satisfyingly perfect. What's happening in your brain is something psychologists call contrast effect comfort. When it's cold and dark outside, but warm and safe inside, your nervous system processes that contrast as rewarding. Every time you look out the window at the harsh winter world, your brain releases a small hit of satisfaction. You're safe. You're warm. You made it. Summer doesn't give you this effect. In summer, staying inside feels like you're missing out. The weather is nice, people are outside, and there's this subtle social pressure that makes your brain register staying home as a loss. But in winter, you're not avoiding something good, you're actively choosing the better option. There's also something called refuge appeal in environmental psychology. Humans are hardwired to enjoy enclosed, protected spaces more when there's a perceived threat outside. And historically, winter was a threat. So when you're bundled up indoors while it's freezing outside, you're not being lazy. You're satisfying an ancient survival instinct. Your brain rewards you for finding shelter and warmth, which is why winter coziness feels so deeply comforting on a level you can't always explain. Winter activities also perfectly match this energy. Reading, watching movies, cooking soup, existing under blankets, these are low stimulation, high comfort activities. They don't demand performance. For introverts especially, this is where everything clicks. You're not fighting against the season's vibe, you're aligned with it. And if you've ever noticed that you feel more creative or more focused in winter, there's a reason for that too. Winter is basically an introvert's natural habitat. In summer, social expectations skyrocket. If you're not out traveling, attending events, or posting aesthetic photos, it feels like you're doing something wrong. Society quietly decides that summer equals fun, and fun equals being social. But winter changes the rules. Saying you're staying in because it's cold needs no explanation. Rest becomes sensible, not antisocial. Winter gives you social permission to live the way you naturally want to live. There's also research suggesting that introverts are more sensitive to external stimulation, like bright sunlight, heat, crowds, noise. Winter naturally reduces all of that. Shorter days mean softer light, colder weather keeps people indoors, and the world feels quieter and more muted. For a brain that already processes stimulation intensely, winter feels like finally turning the volume down. On top of that, studies show that people think and focus better in cooler environments, usually around 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. In winter, your brain isn't wasting energy trying to cool your body, so it can dedicate more resources to thinking, creating, and concentrating. Now, here's a controversial idea. The darkness isn't actually bad. Seasonal affective disorder is real and affects some people seriously, but for many winter lovers, early darkness does the opposite. It creates natural boundaries. When the sun sets early, your day feels complete sooner, and there's no guilt about slowing down. Compare that to summer evenings when it's still bright at 9 p.m. and you feel like you should be doing more. Winter aligns with your circadian rhythm instead of fighting it. It also compresses time in a way that makes days feel contained and manageable, rather than endless and overwhelming. There's also an undeniable aesthetic to winter darkness. Early stars, dramatic skies, warm window lights glowing against cold streets. It's atmospheric and moody in a way summer can't replicate. For people who love winter, darkness isn't the absence of light, it's a presence of its own. It creates space for reflection and depth. At the deepest level, winter gives us permission to rest. Modern society expects the same level of energy and productivity all year long, but that's not how humans evolved. For most of history, winter was a time to slow down, stay close to home, conserve energy, and reflect. When you love winter, you're still honoring that rhythm. You understand that productivity isn't the only measure of a meaningful life, and that sometimes the most important moments happen when you're doing nothing at all. So if you love winter, it says something powerful about you. It means you value introspection over constant stimulation. You see coziness as a legitimate form of happiness. You're comfortable with quiet, with darkness, and with your own company. And in a world that constantly demands louder, faster, and brighter, that's not a weakness, it's strength. So the next time someone asks why you love winter, you can tell them it's not despite the cold and dark, it's because of it. Winter people aren't waiting for life to start again in spring. We're already living it.